This might seem like an odd time to do this, but I just remembered that I forgot to look at the warrior record and see where we are. I think after everything we've done, Heisuke is probably in full bloom, and that is the case. Alright, well, we're well on our way, I guess. Before long, the magistrate's office was in flames, and we were forced to retreat. Even that was nearly a failure as well. The Imperial Army's weapons were far more advanced than anything we'd seen before, and we didn't know how to counter them. Our retreat degenerated into chaos, and Heisuke and I found ourselves separated from the rest of the Shinsengumi. Uh-oh. There was no way for us to know who else might have survived, but we both knew where those who had would go. Osaka Castle. Yoshinobu was there, as was Kondo. What other destination could there be? Don't forget Soji. Come on now. I can't believe me and Heisuke of all people get separated. Heisuke and I chose to go through the forest and thereby avoid the Imperial Army, but it was January, and the forest was dark and cold, probably crawling with demons. Are you doing all right, Chizuru? I'm fine. I had done my best not to cause any more worry for Heisuke, but it was a cold January, and there was no light out, and we were surrounded by a freezing forest. We almost seemed imprisoned by the trees. All was still, and the only things moving were me and Heisuke paving the way ahead of me. Usually I'd pick an easier path to walk, but we can't afford for the Satsuma Choshu troops to find us, so hang in there. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. How about you, Heisuke? Are you okay? You've been walking a lot, too. Course I'm okay. I'm a city boy at heart, but the forest ain't too bad either. No, I mean your fury thing. He's been taken by the bloodlust during the battle at the magistrate's office, but since then he'd seemed fine. Still, there was no guarantee that it wouldn't happen again. In fact, it was very likely that it would, and that worried me. Come on, we gave him our demon blood. Things will be fine. He must have felt my eyes on him, because he sighed and lowered his sword from hacking away the underbrush. Huh. I don't want blood. I was just thinking about Sanan. Sanan? He'd become a fury long before Heisuke, so he'd been dealing with the bloodlust much longer. How was he coping with it? Heisuke turned and looked at me, and I could see that the very same thoughts were going through his head. He leaned closer to me and spoke in a whisper, as if he were afraid someone might be listening in. I think Sanon's been drinking blood. I think that on the night he goes out on patrol with the Fury Corps, he drinks blood from the men they kill. What? Don't you think that's a little far-fetched? Well, remember when the Fury Corps got into fights, and their victims always seemed to have more sword cuts than they should have? I think that was them trying to cover up what they were doing. Oh no. There was no denying that his argument made sense. Yeah, I kind of figured that's probably been going on. Now that I know they need to drink blood, I knew that there was something more to what Heisuke was saying, that he knew something, but I didn't want to believe it. I had only met and known Sanan from what I'd seen of him since first living with the Shinsengumi. And perhaps more importantly, I knew just how much the Shinsengumi captains trusted him. I'm a fury. Now I understand. If nobody was there to stop me, there's a good chance I'd end up doing the same thing too. Aww. My poor boy. Such a mess. I remember what it felt like at Aberono Koji. My chest hurt, and I could hardly breathe. Everything looked kind of dark. I wasn't thinking, you can't die until you see justice done, or anything like that when I drank the water of life. The truth is, I was just scared. I didn't want to die. So that's why I went for the water of life. The wind whipped his hair across his face, hiding it. I kept silent. Whatever his reason was for telling me all this, it probably wasn't to get me to give him advice. Yeah, good call. I became a fury so I could live. And now I'm wishing I'd never done that. Am I worth surviving at the cost of drinking other people's blood? I can't find an answer to that. He laughed again, but it was easily the saddest sound I'd ever heard. I feel like this is just like when I left the Shinsengumi to go with Ito. I thought this was the right choice for Japan. Or, at least, that's what I told myself. But in the end, I couldn't even tell if Ito was the right choice anymore. When I heard that they were plotting to put the blame on the Shinsengumi for Ryoma Sakamoto's assassination, I couldn't stop them at the end. I mean, I chose my own path. But every time I feel like I made the wrong decision, I regret it and just want to give up. I'm always like this. It's pretty pathetic. You're not the only person who does that. What? I couldn't stay silent any longer. Aw, girl. I reached for him, and when our hands met, I felt him shiver. Well, you're holding my hand. I do, and I'm sure all the other guys have regretted their choices sometimes, too. I'm sure everyone just doesn't show it. I felt him try to pull away, but my hand wrapped around his. Oh, no, you don't. I'm holding your hand, Mr. Fury Boy. Sometimes all I can think about is the things I've done that I regret. There are days when I hate myself. His hand felt cold and I gripped it tighter. He didn't pull away. When I was still in Edo, working at my father's clinic, I remember there being a patient who had an incurable illness. When they'd learned about their illness, they were desperately frustrated, only focusing on the pain and unfairness of it all. But one day, this person stopped saying those things. I remember they'd said, "This morning I threw grains in the yard, and sparrows came, and I found a beautiful flower in the yard." Whenever something good had happened, this person would talk about it. I think they realized that the good parts of life make living precious. I think that's how we get through life. I'm happy, you know. You might be a fury, but you're still alive. From the bottom of my heart, I'm glad Aberona Koji wasn't the last time we saw each other. I didn't want him to die, no matter what. Even if that meant he had to become a fury. Sorry. I guess I'm kind of selfish, huh? I knew how much pain you're dealing with, Heisuke, and yet I'm still happy. I wasn't sure if I could muster a good smile, but the smile I shared with Heisuke was the best one I could give him at the moment. Aww. Yeah, you tell him you love him. Yeah, I guess you are kind of selfish. So I think it's only fair for you to let me be selfish. What are you talking about? I want you to stay with me. When we're together, that makes me happy. Does that mean... He didn't mean... forever, did he? No, surely he meant until we were out of the forest. Are you proposing? Or... something? But my attempts to temper my expectations meant nothing to my heart, which beat rapidly against my chest. Are you sure? I mean, you're really suffering right now. I couldn't do anything to help you. Couldn't do anything? Are you serious? Man, you're even slower than I thought. Huh? I stared at him, dumbfounded, but he only laughed. After a moment, he looked at me, and though his laughter faded, his grin did not. Thanks, Chizuru. I think if you weren't here, I would have gone nuts a long time ago. He let go of my hand and stood, then turned and held it out. This time, he was making the move. I felt happy, and I took his hand back. Good on you, Chizuru, for making the first move.
Alright, we gotta hurry. If we don't get there soon, they're all gonna get lonely.
Right. It didn't matter how far away Osaka Castle was. So long as I was with Heisuke, everything would be alright. I'm like, I really wish you hadn't said that, because you're just calling for trouble. That was when I heard them.
There! Shogunate soldiers!
Heisuke!
I know! Come on!
Time to boogie. Heisuke pulled me through the woods as the voices of our pursuers echoed behind us. The forest reflected the sound in such a way that at times it felt like we'd been surrounded. Heisuke gripped my hand tighter.
Don't worry. I'm with you, and they can't shoot at us here.
Right. Eventually, the voices behind us began to fade. It seemed we'd finally lost them when a new problem appeared. A far, far worse problem.
Who would have thought I'd run into the two of you here?
Yep. I knew it. You guys always show up near the end.
Kazuma! Amagiri!
What are you doing here? Two of the people I least wanted to see had been waiting for us, and we'd run right to them.
This war is approaching its climax. I didn't want to take the risk that you might die somehow in the coming conflagration. After all, this fool with you is useless.
How dare you, sir?
He'll doubtlessly abandon you the moment he's faced with any real difficulty.
Shut your hole, pal!
Them's fighting words.
I'd never abandon her to save my own ass. No way in hell!
He stepped between Kazuma and myself and reached for his sword.
Will you need my assistance? Are you mocking me, Amagiri? I can't forgive that, you know. Not even from you. Do you really think I could ever lose to this runt? My apology.
Heisuke leapt forward, not giving the demon time to finish. I believe in you, Boo. Come on. He moved so fast I could barely even see him, but Kazuma seemed to have no such difficulty.
You think you could win with that level?
Kazuma calmly dodged Heisuke's attack.
Damn it!
Their swords met with a metallic clang, and for a few seconds they fenced back and forth.
You are too slow.
Then, without a word, Kazuma simply grabbed Heisuke by the face? Kazuma? Is Kazuma saying ga? Or Heisuke? I'll have to continue. I might have to fix this ga in post-recording.
Gah!
And you're too weak. Too pathetic to be her protector. You have already lost. 1.
He slammed Heisuke's head into the forest floor.
2.
Stop, Kazuma! Let go of Heisuke! I'd screamed out, straining my throat.
Out of my way. This is your punishment, dear.
Dear, how dare you? Ah! Kazuma kicked me dead in the stomach. And I slammed into the ground. I'll give him one thing. He is pretty damn consistent with those kicks. He doesn't grab my face.
3.
Heisuke.
Ah!
Heisuke was covered in his own blood. Kazuma grabbed the neck of his kimono, then tossed Heisuke to the side as if he were a doll.
Do you see the difference in strength between you and me? Now be gone.
Heisuke? Heisuke! I grabbed a hold of his face, trying to shake him. Can you leave my poor boy's face alone, please?
I'm fine. This will heal quickly.
Heisuke. My face was becoming hot, and tears began to well in my eyes as I wiped the bloodstains on his face. Just then.
He's gone. You, daughter of Yukimura, will be coming with me.
No, I won't! I'll never do that!
Intriguing. It seems your fight is not quite ended.
Oh yeah, were you supposed to beat him to a bloody pulp and that was gonna make her fall for you? Was that the plan? You weren't actually gonna just pick her up and carry her away?
He seems different from what he was when last we fought. What? What are you?
A streak of cold steel appeared out of nowhere and slipped across Kazuma's cheek, leaving behind a thin line of blossoming red. Heisuke, you have done what only the Demon Commander has managed to do thus far. Kudos, man. Nice magical sword. I followed the steel to its wielder. There he is.
Still alive, bastard!
Yeah, of course. You really think that was enough to kill me? Please.
Heisuke, are you sure that you're okay? Your injuries look awful.
I've spent my whole life making crappy decisions and then regretting them, but even if it means I gotta become a fury to do it, I want to protect you. I've never been so sure of anything before.
The bruises Kazuma had given his face were already beginning to color. But he still looked heroic. Heisuke.
You've gained a few abilities that were never meant for you, and it's gone to your head.
He still gave you a scritch on the cheek, man.
Very well. I will cut that head off and tear out your heart, you fake!
Let's see you try!
Kazuma lifted his sword again, fully prepared for battle this time. Heisuke, on the other hand, only stayed upright by leaning heavily on his sword. Before they could attack one another, a strong gust of wind swept across their battlefield. Who the heck? I have literally zero idea who this other question mark person can be. Maybe Sano and Shinpachi? Get the trio back together? Or Sanon? I don't know. I'm gonna have to post-record this line too, because I have no idea who this is.
My. Now isn't what I'd call the best time for this. Fake. You know, I really think it's rather foolish to have anything to do with a man who says such things.
Oh! Wow! I would never, ever have guessed that it would be you two coming out of the middle of the woods. Okay. Well, things just got interesting. Sen? Kimigiku? What are you guys doing here?
Toto, was it? You've done well.
Huh? How do you know my name?
Girl talk.
Are these your friends, Chizuru?
Oh, that's right. Heisuke had never met either of them before.
You're the female demon living in the Yase village.
This is where Princess Sen takes residence.
What would a demon from Kyoto want with us?
Ah, that's great that you've heard of me. My lady is from the demon clan of Kyoto. Her family rarely interacts with the Eastern or Western clans. But she is a direct descendant of the legendary Suzuka Gozen. Suzuka Gozen? I couldn't make much of what they were saying, but from what I could tell, Sen was of a similar, or possibly higher, station than Kazuma.
What does the descendant of Suzuka Gozen want with me? Have you come to pay your respects?
Ho, with what need would I venture out of my way to pay respect to you? Why am I here? That is simple. Demons are the shadows in history. Have you forgotten the law that we are not to become involved with human politics? Using the powers of demons to interfere with, if not destroy, the shogunate is out of question. That means, of course, that attacking the men of the Shinsengumi with the intention of abducting this one here is out of line as well.
Are you suggesting that we are going against the rules of being a demon? We have no intentions on aiding the Satsuma that are successful in overthrowing the shogunate.
Even if you are, in fact, going to withdraw from your efforts in the future, it does not excuse the sins you have already committed. Depending on the severity of your actions, we may need to take disciplinary measures against your stray demons.
A demon who broke the code and has been exiled.
Are you prepared for this outcome?
Sen and Kazuma glared intensely at one another, each one aware of how capable the other was. Go Sen.
What do we have to do to make this go away?
Simple. She will be under the protection and jurisdiction of the Yase clan going forward. Of course, it is necessary for the both of you to vow that you will never interfere with her again. If you keep your word, then your transgressions against mankind will be kept discreet.
Who are you to tell me what to do?
Kazuma laughed condescendingly towards Sen. Ooh, I've never seen that look on Sen before. She's ready to kick some butt.
You insolent, ungrateful knave! Know your place!
Kazuma jerked as if he'd been struck. I could never have imagined that she could be so... The look she gave him was almost haughty. That's one word for it. They were eyes of a demon princess, looking dignified opposite from her opposition conversant.
You have broken the demon code by wrongly altering the course of human affairs, and in no small manner the destiny of their peoples. The title of stray demon does not begin to describe the weight of your wrongdoing. One could even partition the disbandment of your clan. And yet, here I am, standing before you to let you know that I may be willing to turn my cheek. If you are unwilling to oblige, then the Kazuma clan will be stripped from their privileges as demons. Is this what you want for all of your people?
Kazuma and Amagiri fell silent, grimacing quietly to themselves and gritting their teeth. Eventually.
You have an impertinent mouth. Nonetheless, this is an interesting proposition. I see you have not inherited the elegance of your predecessor, however. Time to go home, Amagiri. Guess I'll have to let this one go, for now. Yes, sir. However, if the daughter of Yukimura chooses to join me in matrimony as my wife, you have no business getting in my way, my lady.
Excuse me? Chooses to join you in matrimony? You aren't understanding, are you?
Kazuma's smugness dropped, and whatever response he'd intended to give had changed.
You were lucky this time, Fake. I won't kill you now. But if, or should I say when, that mind of yours does break, I will.
The two demons turned, disintegrating into the darkness like spirits. Wow. Thank you for being amazing, Sen?
At long last, they have finally left us be. With any hope, this will prevent Kazuma from being a bother for much longer.
I have a feeling that's not enough to dissuade him just yet. I think he'll be a little more underhanded and not so... obvious? Not so bold about trying to run away with his wife, his future wife.
Thank you both for helping me.
No need. I am simply performing my duties. However, we must go now. Those men were the greatest threat, but the Imperial army is still nearby.
Oh!
That's right. We gotta head over to Osaka Castle, huh?
Perhaps we can catch up when next we visit Edo. Are you guys going to the Osaka Castle?
The rest of the Shinsengumi should be gathering there.
Kiku, do you have a status report on what the situation is like in our current area?
Yes. I hear that Yodo Castle has already betrayed the Shogun. But if you can make it past Yodo, then you should have no trouble reaching Osaka. Well, thank you again. Is there anything I can do for you?
Another time, perhaps? Let us depart, Kimigiku.
And with that, they disappeared into the woods. Where did you guys even come from? Without sending Kimigiku, I had no doubt that our encounter with Kazuma and Amagiri would have ended very badly. Our own safety assured, for the moment at least, I fell to wondering how the rest of the Shinsengumi had fared. One look at Heisuke confirmed that his thoughts mirrored mine. We needed to get to Osaka as quickly as possible. What a crazy thing that was. The forest paths to Osaka Castle were winding and arduous, requiring all of my stamina to traverse. I had ended up far more exhausted by the end of it than I had expected to be. When we'd finally arrived to Osaka Castle to meet with the Shinsengumi men, I went to bed almost immediately, practically collapsing upon the futon. It was a huge relief to have a place in which to sleep, and when I awoke, it was evening already. I rushed to the Great Hall, but there wasn't anyone to be seen anywhere. Where's Heisuke and Hijikata? I was muttering myself, almost half asleep still. Saito! Oh, it's so good to see you safe, Saito.
Yukimura, nice to see you safe as well. This is good news.
Yes, where is everyone? As soon as I got here, they told me to get some rest, so I wasn't able to see how everyone was doing. Is everyone safe?
It is difficult to know presently, especially in the case of Yamazaki. He was badly wounded during the battle and is in critical condition. Luckily, the chief and Soji were not involved, so they are safe and were out of harm's way, but Soji does not appear to be improving with his illness.
I see.
And Gen.
Yes, I heard about Inoue almost as soon as we'd arrived.
I see.
The news about Inoue was waiting for us as Heisuke and I met with everyone. To think that the sight of his warm smile, or the peaceful sound of his voice, would no longer be things in which I could take solace broke my heart. To top it off, too, Yamazaki was badly hurt. Saito? What's going to happen to the Shinsengumi?
The remaining warriors are slowly gathering at Osaka Castle. Once enough return, we are to depart for Edo. So rest while you still can.
Okay, understood. Did you see Heisuke?
Heisuke? I believe I saw him outside alone earlier.
What? But the sun's still out. I'm worried, so I'm going to check on him. Thanks for always filling me in, Saito. Ever since Heisuke had become a fury, his mood often fluctuated extremely, even in talking to me. I wasn't comfortable leaving Heisuke alone, so after Saito gave me the go-ahead, I bowed and I walked outside to find Heisuke. As I went past the castle's inner court, I witnessed a beautiful sunset above the castle walls. Near the wall, bathed in amber light, I saw Heisuke.
Oh, Chizuru.
He was standing there, letting his body soak in the red warmth of the setting sun, and he gazed quietly towards the cloud formations above.
Morning. Guess that's kinda weird to say at this time of day.
Well, I just woke up, so I think morning is fitting. Heisuke, are you alright? Isn't the sunlight bad for your body? As I'd expressed my worry with him, Heisuke shared with me a wry smile.
I'd be lying if I said I was fine. The sunset's burning my eyes a little. I kind of feel this numbing sensation all over my body, and I even feel like I'm gonna be sick.
Then why are you staying out here?
The pain I can deal with. The real scary thing here is how different the world looks from before.
Different?
For you, the sunset looks pretty from here, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Well, more like I used to think that too. But the color of the sunset doesn't do anything for me anymore. Not like red blood does now. That scares the hell out of me.
Heisuke.
Hey, don't worry so much. Even if it hurts my body, my soul, I finally feel like the pain is worth fighting through.
Huh?
It's because you're here with me, by my side.
As he said this, he seemed to blush a little, turning to the side to avoid eye contact. It didn't seem like we wanted to go back in yet. Just so you guys know, this would be a great time to kiss in front of the sunset. Just throwing it out there. If you want, you could do that. I would be okay with that. He stood there, watching the warm hues fill the sky, and I sauntered next to him.
Chizuru?
Although we are looking at the same setting sun, he and I are seeing different things. Thinking about what had become of us made my heart a little heavy, so I reached for his hand, cold to the touch, to hold. Heisuke's heart won't lose to the fury. So, just like in the forest, we clasped our hands tightly together, gazing into the evening sky. Alright, holding hands watching the sunset is also pretty darn cute, I'll admit. Although I felt powerless, I had felt that, if I were to stay by his side, the future was still worth looking forward to, and it brought me warmth.